So today I wanted to bring to you a student PMP success story. We have Nirav Shah, who's now a PMP with us today. I wanted him to share some of his tips and strategies around his testing experience and how he prepared for the exam. I'm Renee Adair. I'm the owner of Successful Projects and wanted to bring this to our students to help them prepare. So Nirav, first, just congratulations on passing the exam. That was quite an achievement. I know you worked very hard to attain it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I just wanted to talk with you today, record your feedback, because I think many people who are trying to take the PMP exam would find value in learning, from what others have experienced and gone through as they prepared for the exam. So first, what can you share with us about your application process? Do you have any tips or strategies that you want to share?
Yeah, sure. So the biggest thing I would keep in mind is application process. Everyone should spend a little bit more time on the application process itself. Um, Usually, application processes are pretty straightforward, but on the PMI side, I would say that spend a little bit more time.
Okay. And so I was just curious, did you get audited and for the application? I know that's a portion of the applicants do get audited, so I was just curious about your experience.
Yes, actually, and that's the reason why I'm saying that it's good to spend a little bit more time. So my application did get audited. So just for everyone's understanding, I would say that as soon as I hit the submit button, within that same second, I got an email from PMI saying that you are being audited. So it's evident that the application was randomly selected, right? In terms of clearing it up and resubmitting it, I was able to pretty much resubmit it at any time as soon as I was ready. The biggest thing what helped me on the application process was the spreadsheet which was provided by Renee and Frank, and I filled it up according to the sections the spreadsheet is having. And then what I did is after I filled it up, I sent it out to Renee and Frank just to double check what I'm mentioning is correct. The biggest thing they mentioned, PMI mentioned on the audit statement was my application was more operational focused. I have worked in operations quite a bit, so maybe that's the reason why it was. But yeah, review from Renee and Frank was helpful as well. After that it was clear, and I was able to sign up for my test.
Okay, great. And based on your experience with the exam, what would you recommend as the best strategy for exam preparation that you found?
Yeah, so I would say, the study material provided by Successful Projects, that was very good. It goes into the details chapter by chapter through various process groups, and the details in there are pretty key. Going through the key elements, that helped me quite a bit. The other thing, what I did was, doing a little bit of group study. That one helped me quite a bit in terms of understanding the concept the way I understood versus the other colleagues, friends I had. Um, I utilized Rita Mulache's book for preparation as well, and of course the PMBOK. So that's what I would say in terms of you know some strategies for exam preparation.
Okay, so just using various perspectives and materials that was helpful for you. So how much study time would you say that you had to commit to, to feel prepared to take the exam?
Oh, okay. So yeah, in terms of study time, for myself, I would say I spent about 16 hours a week for at least 4 weeks, and that is just study time. What what else I did is before the exam, I took like a lot of practice exams. So the last 2 weekends before the exam, I signed up for this materials for from pmtraining.com, and what that is it gives me a bunch of practice exams to practice from, and I practiced that for the last 2 weekends before the exam.
Okay. Um, and I guess what can you share with us about the testing experience itself? Just curious if what your strategies were there. Did you prepare a dump sheet? And then just, did you feel rushed, or just any observations or tips you might have about the testing experience itself?
Sure. So yes, I did prepare a dump sheet, and I had prepared it in such a way that it took me like 5 minutes, 5 minutes or less. Pretty much I had all the formulas, and then what I did is I did up the planning section of the I covered the planning section of the page 25 from the sixth edition, and and that was my dump sheet pretty much. In terms of getting rushed during the exam, I would say yes, I felt rushed quite a bit. I was actually, timing myself to finish 50 questions for every hour, but I was behind until the third hour. Fourth hour after I was done, I think I was left with like 10 minutes. But yeah, I definitely felt rushed. I definitely felt like, am I doing it right? All those exam fields, I did experience all those.
Okay, that's good tips there. And so I guess just a parting question. If you were asked to give advice to another PMP candidate, what would you say? What maybe your top takeaways from your study experience?
Yeah, sure. So I would say, to summarize, it will be three takeaways. I would say, at least read PMBOK twice before you take the exam. Group study helped me quite a bit, taking the practice exams, and then whatever were incorrect questions and answers, I would share those with the group, and similarly, I would hear back from the group what we were thinking of, and while we were answering, and whether we got it right, whether we got it wrong. It kind of helped. And then
Mhm.
the biggest one would be, taking practice exams before the exam. So if possible, take the 4 hour exam
Mhm.
before you give the exam. So I think successful projects, as part of the course, there is a 4 hour exam, which I would highly recommend to take as well.
Okay, great. So I guess, Narav, thanks. I wanted to thank you so much for taking your time today to share your experiences with us. I think that's going to be very helpful for our students who are trying to take and pass the exam. So I'll just, as a parting comment, if anyone has any questions on this, just my contacts on information is on here. Just feel free to shoot me an email.
Sounds good.